Welcome T11 student to the class of human computer interaction. My name is Sachin Pandey. So we are going to start with the chapter number 1 called as human computer interaction, and the name of the chapter is introduction. So on your screen what you can see now, you can just take a minute and you can take a look at it. I have renamed it as tab 1. So this is a typical kind of basin tab that you can find it at many places. So what is the specialty of this tab? That it has got knob on the right hand side. This second image we call it as tab 2. Purpose is same, which is served with the earlier tab. The water, when you turn the knob, the water comes out of the tap. You can use it. So now the tap. What is the difference between tab 1 and tab 2 is that the knob position for tab 2 is changed. It is in the center. And here comes tap number 3. So this is third kind of tap which has got a different kind of knob to turn on and off. And it is on top of the tap. You can say the knob is on top of the tap. So now you can see again three different types of taps. So I have named them tab 1, tab 2, tab 3. So these are the same taps that you have seen tab 1, tab 2, tab 3. Now collectively the photograph is taken in one complete picture. So did you find them familiar? So have you used them? Have you seen them somewhere? So the next question is, where did you see them? And any guess? So we'll again go back to the tabs and we'll talk about the tabs in difference. So this tab has got a right side knob, so you can't use it with left hand side. So if you are not able to use somehow your right hand with, because you are maybe carrying some luggage, or maybe if you have already put some soap or hand sanitizer on your right hand side, you can't use it. Then you have to use your left hand, and which is not that recommended. Subsequently, if there is water cut and somehow somebody has left the tap open, somebody has turned the knob to see whether there is water flowing or not, and if there is no water flowing and if the person did not switch off or did not rotate the tap back to its position to make it zero, so whenever there will be a water supply, the tap will start flowing water and unnecessarily the water will be flowing out of it. This is one biggest disadvantage with such kind of knobs. Now what is the second? The second one also has the same disadvantages that earlier had, that if you do not know whether the water is flowing or not, then it would be really difficult. You might end up wasting water. Here in this case, you can use it by any of the hand, right? You don't necessarily, even if your one hand is busy, you can use the another hand to use it. But subsequently, there is one biggest disadvantage. Now what is that disadvantage? If the water pressure is too high and the moment you turn knob on, it also might happen that your hand would get wet. So if you are carrying some costly wristwatch, or if you are having something in your hand, which like maybe if you are having mobile phone in your hand somehow and you are trying with the fingers, you are trying to use that, so you will end up losing the costlier items. At the same time, it's not always recommended to use such tab, because after you wash your hands again for closing the tab, you have to put your hand directly below the flowing water. So that is one disadvantage. So now what are the advantages of such kind of tap number 3? So now what it has got is, on the top of it, it has got a knob. Now generally you can see that the knob position always tells whether it is on or off. That is one thing. You can use it by any of the hand, and it is easy to be used with only one or two fingers to turn on and off. So this is one speciality of this tap. So widely we will always observe most of the wall mixers, or nowadays many places you will find such kind of knobs available over there. So did you find them familiar? Yes, you must have found them familiar, because these are all photographs are taken from one of the washrooms, boys washroom, especially on the ground floor of PICT. It is close to the admin office on that ground floor, So any guesses? So that one was the guess. So welcome to human computer interaction. So that was just an introductory slides that I have shown you, that how things matter, how things change. Not necessarily all type of users, all type of people like all type of things. You cannot design only one thing which is really good for everybody. So human behavior is very important to study as far as HCI is concerned, and we are going to see in detail. So we'll just see some designs, some bad designs, what we call. These all designs are taken from website called baddesigns.com. You can always visit. Just make sure that it is bad, BADDESIGNS, baddesigns.com. Even this website expects you to also identify some bad designs and upload those pictures for the study purpose. So it's really good part. I wish you can actually go there and see this website. So bad designs, elevator controls and labels on the bottom row all look the same. So it is easy to push a label by mistake instead of a control button. So you'll find that there is written one, and then there is on the top row it is written one, and there is button to press it, two button to press it, three button to press it. Now we are habitual of pressing the floor button. Sometimes you must have also observed in many of the elevators, the buttons are the label of the button is situated exactly on top of the button itself. So you actually end up pressing the floor number, which is a button. So that's a very intuitive design, and it is easy to understand. Now in this case, no user would press the numeric 1, numeric 2, numeric 3. Even if they want to go to floor number 1, 2 or 3, they would necessarily place the adjacent button which is available over there. Now you just come to the bottom side. So you will find that there is something written called as door open in blue color, where the red arrow is pointing to, and then there is next to it is button. So then again there is a level called as stop, and there is a button, then there is a bell, and then there is a button, again there is a door close, and then there is button. So for every level there is next adjacently one button is available. Now what is the problem? The problem is written on the top that elevator controls and labels on the bottom row all look the same, so it is easy to push a label by mistake instead of a control button. So really you are in hurry and you find that somebody is coming rushing to the elevator, you are already in and you want to door to be kept open, so you are in a rush to press that button. So instead of pressing the button to keep the door open, you would end up pressing the label which says door open, because it is very intuitive. So this mistake might happen with any of these things. So when you want to end up with doing something, so you will end up doing a wrong thing. So people do make some mistakes for the labels and the buttons on the top row. So why not? This generally happens. You also might have seen this problem. Instead, I should be asking you that have you seen some such kind of similar problem which arises when you have visited any real life application? But now since it is just the start of our session, so you may not warm up enough to come up with some bad design examples. So I'll just let you know some bad designs. So you should recollect the things, the visualization that I'm going to tell you. So you must have visited many of the time some ATM machines. Now what is the purpose of ATM machine? Is to withdraw cash and do some transactions like pin change and all that. So to do any type of transactions, you will normally observe that there are 8 buttons, 4 on the left hand side, 4 on the right hand side, and they are also associated that there is a synchronous thing, or it is expected that there are buttons, steel metal buttons on the border side, and on the screen where you normally touch, the things are written. So people earlier machines used to the labels only used to be written on the computer screen that you see, and then you are supposed to press the adjacent button to it. Now things have changed. The touch screens have come, and you are supposed to touch those buttons. So people most of the time often get confused, because there are some ATM machines where the replacement is done, that the normal monitors or the normal screens which do not support touchscreen are now replaced with touchscreen things, and hence those buttons, the metal buttons or the physical buttons, are made inactive. But still people end up pressing those, trying to press those buttons, and end up wasting their time and the maximum time allowed to do any transaction, right? So that is the biggest problem, that these kind of things we call it as bad design. So you will come across definitely many such examples, and we are going to study them in detail over the period of time. Next one, don't tell me that you had trouble plugging in USB connector. You didn't have any trouble, rather. Every person ends up thrice. Step number one, put the USB connector in a proper direction at the proper thing. It does not go inside, it does not work. Then you change the direction, upside down, ulta karte ho, and then you try to push and it doesn't go. Then you go back to the same step number one, and then you press, then you insert it and it goes inside very nicely. So this is the biggest problem, that the design of pen drive isn't intuitive enough to let you know which side is upward and which is downward, right? So you can see any pen drive that you are currently using, any memory drive that you are using, you will always find the difficulty using it. Now I am carrying with me some 32 GB pen drive, and it is of Strotium company. So now I have remembered and mugged up in my mind that whenever the on the top of pen drive, whenever there is Strotium written, then this is the upside, and the bottom side is blank, so it should not go like that. So instead of, the design is not intuitive enough. You won't make such the same mistake while putting the 3 point plug into an electric socket. आप कभी उल्टा डालते हो क्या उसको? नहीं. So if you remember and if you can see around, if you are sitting in your room or wherever, so you can see that 3 point plug. On the top it's like a triangular shape, and on the top of it the size of the hole is bigger, and the bottom two are the smaller ones. So you don't end up putting ulta plug or something like that. You do it rightly because the design is intuitive enough. But when it comes to plugging USB connector, it is sometimes really difficult to make it. So you can see the part A written and the part B written. So it is expected by user to see the shape of part A and part B and make it synchronous and do it. Now if you can see that the USB connectors, or wherever the part B to your machine, to your laptop, wherever it is connected, it is generally at the rear side, rear bottom, or on such places where you just can't go and you can't go and see it at that place. So the design is not intuitive enough. That's what we are saying. You won't find the same problem while connecting your laptop for on charging mode. Like it's a round connector, right? So when you want to insert it to your laptop, you can just make sure that it is close enough, and you just push it, it automatically, it has to go inside, that's it. So things are easier to do it. So this means that we come across some designs which are really difficult to do something. So by this time I want you to think upon some examples of your choice. So these are few examples that you can come across. Again, this is a very typical example, and everybody across the world, you must have seen many type of remote controls. People use it for their television, their audio system, audio control, and whatnot. So nowadays many devices come with the remote control, your air conditioning systems remote control. So you can see both these remote controls. The left hand side is like a peanut shaped black colored uh, remote control, and on the right hand side you can see the apex. So I'm going to give you some 5 to 10 seconds just to see and analyze it before I proceed further with my discussion. Okay, so what is the difference? Both look good, both look usable, but are both of them are quite usable enough? So what's wrong with the Apex remote? So can you tell me what is wrong with it? So why is the TiVo remote, the left hand side remote, so much better designed? Because it has got peanut shape to fit in hand. So all those devices which are easy to use are generally peanut shaped, are generally shaped, having shape in such a way that it is easy to handle. First and foremost thing, the device has to be easy, should be handled easily. Second one, logical layout and color coded distinctive buttons. So you can see on the right hand side remote, that is the Apex remote, most of the colors buttons are having gray color, and only few channel up channel down buttons are only having some different color and the power off button. So on the left hand side instead, on the peanut shaped remote, you can find that there are different colors, and the colorful symbols make it really interesting, and people remember things, people remember color and the button with the color shape. If my son, who is quite young enough to operate, to use television, he knows the button which one is meant for the to power of some system. So generally if you see, there is one big thing which is not correctly mentioned on the left hand side remote, that is TV remote, which is peanut shaped remote, that the power of button is not having red color. Standardized way, or if you see across many places, even if you want to hang up a call on your mobile phone, even if you want to cut something, if you want to record something, if you want to stop something, so normally use color of the button is red color. So that is the standard one. So you know that okay, red color means button meant for shutting it down. Second one, the last advantage that you can see on this left hand side remote is easy to locate buttons. So yes, buttons can be easily located. The channel numbers, you can see that it is easily identifiable, and you can proceed with it. So there exist some designs which are good and bad. You will always find, if you want to take up survey of some thousands of people, you will find that there is still some good amount of number of people who would find advantages in Apex remote and might find disadvantages in TV remote, which is left hand side remote. So we cannot design a product which is going to cover 100% of user. So we are going to face this difficulty quite often. So we are going to start with the topic called introduction. And yes, so far so good. We have seen some good designs, some bad designs. These are all our outcomes of human computer interaction. So to start with introduction, what is HCI? So interacting with technology has become an essential part of everyday life. of the for the majority of people. Don't you interact with most of the technology things that you use nowadays? So earlier people used to use the phones, the landline phones. Then there came computers. Then there came laptop. Then there came handheld devices. Then came mobile phones. So we are still doing it nowadays. You will find Fitbit or the wrist bands. So people are going to definitely going to the interaction of it, right?